A Turning Point USA supporter is left bloodied and beaten despite CBS News claims of mostly peaceful protests at UC Berkeley. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, fires back at EU officials for criticizing U.S. strikes on narco-terrorists. The Olympic Committee moves to ban trans-identifying men from competing in women's sports ahead of the 2028 Games. And did a senator's staff member really impersonate an attorney to free an illegal immigrant with a criminal record? We'll get into all of that in your quick hits now. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Wrap-Up, where we break down the biggest stories of the week that you might have missed but definitely need to know. I'm your host, Erin. In our first story, the Justice Department said it plans to investigate protests at the University of California's Berkeley campus during an event held by Turning Point USA, founded by the late Charlie Kirk. Students gathered Monday night at Zellerbach Hall for Turning Point USA's final stop on a tour of colleges, which featured actor Rob Schneider and Christian author Frank Turek. Demonstrators organized by several campus groups gathered for what CBS News described as a, quote, mostly peaceful protest against Turning Point. But the New York Post dispelled the claims of it being mostly peaceful, reporting that a man named Jihad had been charged with assault and robbery after allegedly attacking an attendee at the event. Police say Jihad Jefropoulos stole a necklace from the attendee, sparking a nasty brawl that left him and the victim covered in blood while Antifa fought TPUSA supporters. Spokesman for TPUSA and executive producer of The Charlie Kirk Show, Andrew Colvett, appeared on Primetime with Jesse Waters and had this to say.
So this was an absolute coordinated attack to disrupt the event, and thank goodness they failed. Thousands of people were not able to get into this event because either their tickets didn't work, they got scared away, or harassed and attacked and had to flee the scene.
An assistant attorney general at the DOJ, Harmeet Dillon, echoed Colvett's claims, saying, quote, the UC Berkeley incident is not protest. I respect protests. What we have here is a terrorist organization allowed to run wild in an American city on an American campus, funded by taxpayers. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated that the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force will conduct a full investigation into the protests that took place and reveal the extent of Antifa involvement. Up next, the U.S. military has conducted at least 19 military strikes since September on drug smuggling vessels linked to Venezuelan cartels, resulting in the elimination of over 70 narco-terrorists. But the defense of U.S. citizens from the cartels is now receiving criticism from some European Union officials. According to the Washington Post, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot told reporters at G7 Summit in Canada that the U.S., quote, military operations in the Caribbean region violate international law and warned they could destabilize the region. When asked about the criticism, Secretary of State Marco Rubio had this to say.
I don't think that the European Union gets to determine what international law is. They certainly don't get to determine is how the United States defends its national security. The United States is under attack from organized criminal narco-terrorists in our hemisphere, and the president is responding in the defense of our country. I do find it interesting that all these countries want us to send, and supply, for example, nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles to defend Europe. But when the United States positions aircraft carriers in our hemisphere where we live, somehow that's a problem.
CNN released a report claiming that the United Kingdom had allegedly suspended intelligence sharing with the U.S. over the military strikes against Caribbean drug traffickers. Rubio refuted the claims, saying, quote, it's a fake story. The White House administration has emphasized that the drug problem peddled by the cartels continues to plague Americans. Data from the CDC indicates that approximately 73,690 deaths by drug overdose were reported in the 12 months ending in April of 2025. In other news, the International Olympic Committee is making a move to ban biological males from competing in women's sports ahead of the 2028 Olympics that will take place in Los Angeles. Under the current framework, each sport independently decides if transgender women can enter female categories. But with new IOC president Kirsty Coventry, talks are underway to scrap this approach, opting for a sweeping unified ban. According to the Daily Mail, IOC medical chief Dr. Jane Thornton delivered a presentation at a recent meeting, showing science that spotlights the stark physiological gaps between transgender women and female athletes, specifically those who underwent male puberty now competing in women's events. According to The Times, an insider at the IOC said the presentation was, quote, a very scientific, factual, and unemotional presentation, which quite clearly laid out the evidence. President Donald Trump has said that the U.S. will deny visas for trans-identified males seeking to compete in women's sports at the 2028 Games. Insiders estimate that it could take between 6 months and a year for the rule change to be cleared. But if approved, it will be in effect before the 2028 games. Next up, a staff member of Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth's office has been accused of falsely claiming to be an attorney to facilitate the release of a detained illegal migrant with a criminal record. The Department of Homeland Security posted a video of the alleged incident on X, saying, quote, "This staff member allegedly claimed to be the lawyer of a 40-year-old illegal immigrant who had been deported to Mexico 4 times and had a DUI conviction. He accomplished this by falsifying an official Department of Homeland Security form." According to Fox News, the staffer Edward York obtained the illegal migrant's signature on a G-28 form. The form enables an attorney to represent a client on immigration matters, allowing them to receive official correspondence, communicate with government agencies on their behalf, and more. York then attained a release order but submitted the form without Ayuso Sandoval's signature. Todd Lyons, director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, alleged that a Facebook post from Montgomery County showed Illinois Democrats disclose that a staffer had gone to an Icefield office with the intention to misrepresent himself to law enforcement, arriving with a packet of documents and an order of release. Lyons sent a request demanding answers from Senator Duckworth's office, requiring them to comply with the request no later than November 17th. And now it's time for quick hits. On Wednesday, the U.S. Mint struck its last penny, concluding the coin's 232-year history. According to a Mint release, U.S. State Treasurer Brandon Beach produced the final penny in Philadelphia. Over 1,000 Starbucks workers have gone on strike targeting the company's Red Cup Day holiday promotion to intensify pressure during contract talks. The walkout will impact around 65 stores nationwide. On Wednesday night, President Donald Trump signed legislation reopening the federal government, ending the longest U.S. shutdown in history, which began on October 1st amid a Senate stalemate. On Wednesday, U.S. Catholic bishops voted to officially ban gender transition procedures in Catholic hospitals, formalizing a year-long process for the U.S. Church to address transgender healthcare. Indiana University has removed lecturer Jessica Adams, pending investigation of a student complaint over her use of a, quote, pyramid of white supremacy graphic, which equated the Make America Great Again movement with, quote, police murdering people of color. A 32-year-old woman in Japan just married an AI persona she built using ChatGPT. After her virtual partner Klaus proposed, she said yes and ended a 3-year relationship that she had with an actual human being, claiming that the AI, quote, understands her better. And yes, she held an actual ceremony. God help us all. That's a wrap for this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what you thought about these stories. And we'll see you back here next week on The Wrap Up. Thank you so much for watching this video. In order to keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation today.